everyone, my name is Rita, and my app idea was inspired by experiences at work. And so I work in AI, and specifically I work with small businesses, and I help them implement AI tools to save time. And I do a lot of research because a lot of my clients ask me, can you please tell me what everyone else is doing in AI? What should we be doing in AI? And so I read a lot of articles to answer that question. But it's not just them that ask me this question. I get texts from friends who work in the corporate space as well, who say, hey, did you see that article that Goldman Sachs released about their new AI initiative? Is it true? Should we be doing what they're doing? And so I started asking myself, well, why are they all wondering what each other's doing in AI? And I realized that it's because of this, I think, collective anxiety that everybody's facing. All the businesses right now are looking sideways and are wondering, what are my peers doing in AI? Are we behind? Do they know something we don't know? What should we be doing? And this is all happening because of this. I'm not sure if you've experienced this, I hope you can see it, but these are basically headlines you see in the news of all these AI initiatives that are happening. AI is helping us raise 200 million. AI is helping us lay people off. And it's overwhelming for individuals and for businesses as well to basically see this every day in your newsfeed and wonder, is this true? So let me ask you this. When you read these articles, I'm sure you've seen them in your newsfeed. When you read them, do you believe everything that they say?
Never.
How many of you believe a little bit of what they say? Okay. Great, me too. Because I think that there's noise, but then there's also truth in that noise. I mean, there has to be, it's based on something. And so then I thought, what if we could create this into kind of case studies for businesses with trust scores? Because what we have today, or what businesses have today,
It's not advancing.
sorry, help me out.
We lose the Zoom.
I think it exited the. Oh, I didn't realize we took different positions during this.
No. Oh no.
Actually, you can just pull up the link from Slack.
Okay.
Okay. So we can go forward to, you just click forward. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect, yeah. So the pain point of businesses. So what they have today are four things essentially. They have these news articles that we've already discussed. They have vendor case studies, so all these companies that say they have the best AI tool contact them and they convince them that they should work with them because of their amazing ROI. Then there's all these marketing tactics of exploring what's happening, and we don't really know what to believe when we read those articles. And then businesses can go to consulting and pay McKinsey $2 million if they want to, but not everyone has that amount of money to go to consulting firms. And even then, we don't know really what is it that they do know about AI implementation. So we can go next. To give you an example, Anthropic a few days ago released a paper claiming that Claude improves productivity by 80%. And so I read the research paper, it's about 23 pages long, and immediately when I started reading it, I said, okay, Anthropic is reviewing Claude, they own Claude, and the whole research is based on Claude evaluating Claude. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt. But if we actually look at the study objectively, we'll say, okay, the study was published by Anthropic. It's a real company, right? We know it exists, check. It has an AI tool named Claude. Yes, check. They decided to spend time and money to create this research paper based on a metric called productivity. Okay, check. They're claiming that this tool improves productivity by 80%. 80%, maybe not a big check, maybe we'll give it like a 20% weight of our trust as we take it with a grain of salt. So if we move forward, based on this example, what if we could extract data in the same way, score it, and then build a database of trusted answers for businesses? And this is where AI Research Lab came about. The idea for this web app is where we can turn noise into trusted and rated case studies. The long-term vision, hopefully not so long-term, but the vision of this is that it would become kind of like a Bloomberg terminal for AI adoption, where companies can come and they can see analytics, peer benchmarks, enter the company profile and see, here's what everybody else is doing, am I behind, what should I be doing first, how much money is this going to cost me, etc., etc. And so once we have enough data, it would look something like this. A really nice platform.
Yeah.
So for example, I am a healthcare company, so I would check out healthcare industry, I would say I'm enterprise side, and I'm in North America, and I'm interested in customer service. So let's see what everybody else is doing, how long it takes them to implement AI, what tools they're using, all this good stuff. But again, now we don't have that much data now. We're just gathering the data. So this is the MVP that I've been building for the last month, with the end goal being that we get these case studies that I mentioned. The way that we would get there is a user would upload a link, a URL for an article or a PDF file. The web app extracts data, like I mentioned, kind of what are the data pieces that are important to a business. It would score it based on a rubric, which is, I called it doubt-free rubric that I created. And then I would create a case study for the user to view. So here's how it works.
Are you gonna? Do you need to be on the Zoom to show it?
I do need to.
Okay, let's figure out what happened.
I think I'm here actually.
Yeah. Yep, there you
All right, perfect. Okay, so this is the landing page that the user would come to, and it would tell them that this is the AI research for business leaders. We research and analyze AI implementations, a few stats about how terrible the pain points are, and then they would click on the only call to action button here, view research. And here they'd be taken to a page with choose your path. So they could either explore case studies, or they could create a case study similar to what I was describing earlier. So once you click create case study, there would be a place for you to paste a link or upload a file, and the results would display here. So let's see, there is a Goldman Sachs article I've been reading. I'm going to paste the article here. And so the system now is analyzing it, it's reading the content, it's creating the HTML files, extracting the data, parsing it into the database, and generating insights. So on the right-hand side, the user here gets 3 pieces of information: the executive summary, the case study, and the validation report. So first what they see is it worth your time? Yes, it's 85% credible. Here's kind of a quick summary of what you need to know. Does it have ROI? Yes. And payback period? Yes. The green buttons would be the level of trust that we instill in this data point. So once we click on this executive summary, it will look something like this. I'm not sure if you can see it, probably it's very small. But basically, there is extracted data, and there's a confidence score associated with each data. So company, Mayo Clinic, yes, we trust it. Is it in healthcare? Yes. Let's go down. AI tool they used, yes, Microsoft. Their annual savings, 2.1 million, it's orange. So maybe take it with a grain of salt, but it's a data point that you could take into account if you want to build a similar implementation. There is this case study that was created as well, more of an objective view. And then there's a validation report, which is the subjective view. So it was scored 85 out of 100. Why? Here's all the reasons why, based on credibility, data quality, methodology, all of the boring research stuff that I'm sure you guys don't want to hear about. And then the user would publish this case study, and it would say publish successfully. You would go back to view case studies, and it would show up here as the top one with main metrics here. So we know it's company Goldman Sachs. What the use case was process automation. They increased efficiency gains by 40%. And here will be all the rest of the case studies that users have uploaded. So this would be open to all. This is not limited to just one person. Anybody can upload, and this would hopefully in the future collect a large enough database. And all of these data points that I mentioned are saved in the database. And eventually we start to see patterns and insights for the analytics that I mentioned of the long-term vision.
Awesome. All right, Q&A. Do you have anything to say?
Yes, I do. I always have things to say. I just want to leave open for other people. I really like the product. To be honest, it's very creative. It's not something that you see every day, and I feel that it strongly resonates to a pain that you have it, which is I need to answer all these people about all these things. I miss just a little bit. I know that the presentation is about the product per se, but if you had a little bit more data on like how many business suffer, or like are we talking about a bakery or Unilever, for instance, and which in Unilever, for instance, if it's Unilever, who are the people inside of the organization? Is it the transformation manager? Is it the CEO that's putting pressure on the transformation manager? Is it the manager that's not the transformation manager, but he feels all the pressure that no one's in the organization? Like today I work in an organization that I'm the only one that knows AI and no one else knows it. So I am the source of the reference for everyone. And I'm not even the CEO, not even the C-level. So if you have this a little bit map it out, like how the pain goes through the organization, and then like if you have that mapped out, then the decision of the organization goes through this process. You know what I mean? I think that you'll be a lot more successful if you understand really how the decision takes place in the organization. Cool features that I would have it. There's one that's very hard to implement, which is the scraper. So it's not very hard to implement, but like if you don't rely on people needing to upload, if you have a scraper that really brings the best policies, therefore you can be in another patamar, because then you don't rely on collectively people adding the things on the platform. And one thing that would be super nice, it's maybe instead of trying to figure out, okay, I upload this case and this was the budget and things like that, maybe it's like, look, I only have 50,000 for digital transformation, for instance. What can I do with this budget, And if I don't invest 50,000, what's the cost of not doing it? So how many years behind I may be, for instance, by the only fact that I didn't implement an AI operation today in my company. So I think these will be very nice features to implement.
Yeah. Oh, that's all good point. The kind of MVP version would have the filters, the more filters. So there could be filters for budget, and it would show all of the case studies that use a specific budget.
This is nice.
And long term, this would be a nice analytics dashboard for premium users and licensed users. And to your point of who is being targeted and kind of what's the flow of the organization, my hypotheses are that, I would like for it to be larger corporations because they have money to for this. And I do know that they're wondering and struggling because they're the ones who are investing a lot of money, millions of dollars, based on kind of hype and what the competitors are doing. So my hypothesis is it's corporations, enterprise level, and it's the people, specifically in transformation roles, corporate development roles, digital transformation roles, that are told by the CEO, tell me what is it that you think we should do with AI. And then they would come here, and it would help them essentially create those slides and those talking points for the boardroom about what they should do based on actual data. So I'm testing that now. I'm trying to get, if you know of anyone and with those titles and those companies, I'd love to talk to them because I want to know how exactly do they come to those conclusions and what they do to research.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I would say in terms of product, it's a pretty creative idea. the way you described it looked more like content relevance problem that you're solving versus helping companies to innovate using AI. So to his point, if you want to focus more on that, maybe look into the budget and see what you can do for them and back it up with data, because nobody likes to read data, and then figure out what's the plan. Other comment, privacy and legacy is pretty, on content side, is very tricky right now. So your whole product relies on scraping data and then analyzing it, and you're also storing it. So something to look into on that side.
How do you define like the quality marks for yourself? You said you made your own rubric,
Yeah.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that is then you want to share as well, or you want people to make full transparency? This is how I rate things.
I haven't thought about it, but I did kind of do a lot of research on how actual research experiments are done, how are they done at a PhD level with academic papers, what is considered good academic rigor, what's not, and then how do we apply this to just articles, because if we use that rigor, then it's going to be a 0 across the board, pretty much, unless it's an actual case study. So I haven't thought about releasing it to see how I'm reading it, but in the executive summary, I don't know if I'm showing. Actually, let me see. Oh, I think it's already passed. There is a validation report that pops up. So it's executive summary, case study, and then a validation report. And this report says why is it 85 out of 100. And here's all the criteria that it was evaluated on, and what was lacking.
Sorry, what happens if the publisher or the person uploading this disagrees? If they want to question any of the evaluations?
Oh, also good point. I can add a contact me, so then they can contact the actual owner of the app and talk about the outcome if they disagree with it. Actually, I would welcome it. That'd be great. Maybe that's how I get mine. I was thinking a marketing tactic could be just kind of blasting companies and saying your score is 20 out of 100, and then I'll get my validation from that. Yeah.
I think it's kind of like what Glassdoor does for businesses, where if you make that social layer so that employees can come and like rate them and kind of beat up on it and talk about it. I think there's absolutely, this is missing right now. There's just like a sea of information out there. So like making sense of it in this type of format, I think is right on point.
Yeah. And there's a lot of other features I was thinking, like you can click on a case study and then chat with it and ask, like, how can my company do something similar? How can I do an AI pilot based on this? There could be a research concierge, like a Chrome extension. So when you are browsing, you can turn it on and say, I'm looking for this. For the next 30 minutes, we're researching, so let's gather all the data as we're going through it. So there's a few ways to do this MVP, but the main one is validating the hypotheses and collecting data. Yeah.
Awesome job.